Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm bringing you guys 7 tips that are going to completely change your makeup game. These are just some tips that I came up with that I think sometimes people look over, or I know that I used to look over, or especially when I'm really lazy, I definitely look over some of these tips, but I promise they make a world of a difference. They may not seem like much, but once you really do it and you really implement these little tips into your makeup routine, you really will notice a difference in your makeup. So if you want to know how to get on top of your makeup game, just keep on watching. Okay, so the first tip I have for you guys is to carve out the underside of your brows. So all I do is I will just take my foundation, a concealer, whatever, and I will just go in under my brow and kind of shape it up, and I will use a concealer brush to do that. So I just put the tiniest bit of foundation, concealer, what have you, and I just kind of just carve it out, pull it down, and then I flip it over and I just kind of blend it out. That makes a huge difference. It really just cleans up the brow. If you have any mistakes, that's a really easy way to fix your mistakes. Or if your brow is just looking a little bit messy and you just want it to look nice and neat. I think this is a really great tip. I definitely use this every day. This was something that I did used to look over. I didn't really understand, like, how is that gonna make my brow look better. If anything, I thought that maybe it would just cover my brow hairs with foundation, you know, like the ones that are growing in that I haven't plucked yet. But no, if anything, it hides them better. It doesn't enhance them, and yeah, especially with one of the other steps coming up, this tip really comes in handy. The next tip I have for you guys is to keep a clean, dense buffer brush next to you at all times. Not a blending brush. I mean, you do want to have a blending brush on you at all times, but I'm talking a buffer brush. Let me zoom you guys in. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is just a blending brush. This is the Sigma E40 tapered blending brush. This is a big, dense buffer brush. This is just some random brush that I got in some random set at a drugstore or something. So I will link similar brushes to this down below, and I will make sure to give you guys a wide range of brushes to choose from, whether they are very inexpensive or a little bit more high-end, because everybody needs a brush like this in their life. This brush is amazing. I just take it whenever I have something that's not blending out very well, especially like if something blends too much into my transition shade. Just take this and just buff it out, and it just really creates a nice seamless blended effect, and I love it. I never do an eye look without this brush. I may not always mention that I'm doing this in my tutorials, but I definitely am always going in between blending and just really buffing everything out to make sure that it is seamlessly blended and that there is a nice gradient effect. My next tip for you guys is very similar to the brow tip. This is to clean up under your wing. So as you can see, this wing is a nice end cut. This wing is just super sharp, and that is because I did go in with a little bit of my foundation, and I just did the exact same thing. Same brush, just went right underneath the tiniest amount of product and just cleaned up right under that wing. And then I just take the other side and I just kind of, you know, blend it all out. That is going to make a huge difference. This is something that I've really always done. I never look over this step simply because my wing liner is never perfect. Nobody's wing liner is ever perfect. I can, however, do wing liner freehand now, which is a very big accomplishment for me, because before I did use tape, which was nothing wrong with that. I still use that method sometimes. But if you don't use tape, or even if you do use tape and, you know, if your eye starts watering or the tape isn't sticking down right and, you know, you've got a little bit of liner where you don't want it, just go in with any concealer brush, any foundation concealer, and just clean up right underneath it, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so the next tip kind of plays into the tip of carving out your brows, and that is to highlight your brow bone. This is going to lift your eyebrows. This is also going to set what we did with the concealer when we carved out our brows. You can use either a shimmer or you can use a matte. If I'm going to use a matte, most of the time I'm going to use Blanc Type by MAC, and if I'm going to use a shimmer, I'll just use any nice light shimmery color. I did use Pearl, the highlight by Becca Cosmetics today. I did use that to highlight under my brow bone, but you can really use anything that you want, just anything that's, you know, light, and it isn't going to cast darkness underneath your brow, because we want that area to look nice and lifted. So this is Pearl by Becca. It looks super white and super scary, but it really is just a really nice pigmented, just shimmery color. So I did use this. Ignore the other makeup swatches that I've rubbed off on my hand, but I just take any flat shader brush, dip it in, tap off the excess, especially if you're going to be using a shimmer, because you don't want to go in with something that's straight up glittery on your brow bone. So I'm just going to tap off the excess, and then you just go under and you apply it. And especially if you use a matte color, that's also going to help with the blending of your eyeshadows. Not so much a shimmer color. That's why I do take the extra step with this buffer brush, but if you do use a matte shadow to highlight under your brow bone, it can also help with the blending of your eyeshadows. My next tip for you guys is to curl your lashes, and that may sound like, what the heck, I curl my lashes all the time. Most of the people do normally curl their lashes when they are doing their makeup, but I mean really curl your lashes, really curl them. I'm talking get up in there, get at the base of your lashes and just really clamp down and give it a good couple squeezes and kind of move your way down to the end of your lashes. Right now I do have on falsies, but in the demo you are seeing that I am just applying mascara. I did apply 2 coats to each eye. As you can see, my left eye is just bleh. The mascara does not look as good. It doesn't make my lashes look as great as the right side. I used the same exact mascara, put on the same exact amount. I just really made sure that I curled the right side of my eye. This is a great way to make sure that your lashes really get all that length and volume out of the mascara as possible, because if you don't curl your lashes, or if you don't really curl your lashes, then your mascara is just not going to do what it's capable of doing. So you want to make sure that you really give those lashes a good curl, apply your mascara, and you should be good to go. My next tip for you guys is to not set your foundation or to use liquid luminizing drops. Now I didn't have my foundation set in this clip, and that is because I was showing you guys how I use the drops. You can go in with these drops if you wanted to. If you wanted to set your face and go in with these drops. I don't personally like to do that because I find that when you mix a liquid with powder, it kind of just sets and it looks cakey, and it just doesn't blend out to its full capability. So that is why I did not set my face, and I went in. These are the Sephora Radiant Luminizing Drops, and these are in Morning Light. I believe this was maybe 18 bucks. I believe they have 3 or 4 shades. So this is something that I've definitely been loving doing. If you know who Luster Lux is here on YouTube, she raves about these. She uses these all the time before she goes in and she sets it with her powder highlight. So that's what I started doing, and it really does make a huge difference. I did set the left side of my face and then applied highlighter, and you can see that it's just kind of, it's still nice, it still looks pretty, but it's not as wow in your face blinding as the highlight on the right side of my face is. So that is another thing that I like to do. I use my Becca Pearl highlight to set these drops, and yeah, it really does just make your skin super glowy. So all I will do is just take the tiniest bit, you really don't need a lot of the drops, and I will just take a damp beauty blender and I will just pounce it wherever I want to be highlighted. Or you can just go straight in, not set your foundation in that specific area, just go straight in with your highlight. It really will do the exact same thing. This is just an extra little step that I like to take to really make sure that my highlight is just blinding. My final tip for you guys is a blush tip. This is something that I have been doing for a while, but I did see that Makeup Shayla, if you know who she is, she makes videos on YouTube, and she's also super big on Instagram. She's a really big beauty influencer. Look up to her a lot. She was talking about on her Snapchat how she takes her blush, loads it up on her brush, and she'll apply it right in the middle, so it's a little bit on top of her contour and a little bit on top of her highlight. That is something that I have done for a long time now, and so when I saw her do that, I thought, damn, I must be doing something right if Makeup Shayla is doing that. So that's all I do, is I just load up my blush on my brush and I will just apply it right here. You will see in the demonstration that is currently playing on the screen that I applied the blush on my left side of my face, right on the apples of my cheeks. That is something that we're all kind of told when we're learning to do makeup, is smile and apply it right on the apples of your cheeks. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that gives a really nice youthful glow. However, I think personally that it looks a little step by step, and I don't like my makeup to look like that. I like my makeup to look like it's all blended and there's no harsh lines. And so I just feel like when you apply the blush straight to the apples of your cheeks, it looks very step by step. Like you got your contour, you got your highlight, and then boom, there's your blush. So that's why I like to just apply it all right here so that everything just kind of mixes together, not in a bad way, a beautiful mix. It doesn't look muddy, it doesn't look cakey, it doesn't affect the highlight in any way. If this is my favorite way to apply blush, it's the only way I apply blush, especially if you use a luminizing blush and you apply it, you know, right on top of that contour and on top of that highlight. It will just give the most beautiful glow to your skin. One of my favorite things to do, and it just makes you look so youthful and awake. So that is why I love to apply my blush right there instead of right on the apples of my cheeks. Alright guys, so that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up as well as subscribing down below. Also, let me know down in the comment section what other videos you'd like to see from me, and I'd be more than happy to do those for you. But until then, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!